Whiny Bitch says what? Hi, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick, and now that I have your attention, I must also draw your attention to an unfortunate matter. We've lost a subscriber. Yes, we've dropped from 37 to 36. Apparently, my Thursday podcast was just too real for them. It was too real, and they unsubscribed. Few 36 people who have stuck around and continue to listen to my nonsense. Thank you. You add brightness to my day, and you make me want to shout, kick my heels up and shout. Go Bills. Yes, I also signed off an audition yesterday saying go Bills, and I was pleased as punch with myself. I'm easily amused and very tired. But I opened up the podcast today by saying Whiny Bitch says what? Why did I do that? Well, because today, 10 Minutes with Nick is 10 minutes on whiny bitches. Couple important things to remember before we start. I'm talking about human beings first and foremost. Now, in my culture, bitch is non-gender specific when used to refer to humans. Anybody can be a bitch. A man, a woman, one who does not specify their gender or chooses not to identify. You can all be bitches. Congratulations. I hope you feel special. No, in fact, the only time bitch is gender specific is when it's used to refer to dogs. Yes, dogs, because a female dog is known, not even colloquially, it's known by definition, as a bitch. And only in the dog world is a whiny bitch an important thing. Why is that? Well, in the dog world, a whiny bitch is a dog that is in distress, that is in pain, that requires some form of assistance. So in fact, that whiny bitch is very important to recognize because the dog requires some form of intervention from a human. However, when a human being is a whiny bitch, they certainly require some form of intervention, but it's usually in the form of a forceful slap across the face. Now, obviously, I'm not advocating violence against humans. That would be a crime that I could be arrested for. No, do not take my words as intending to incite violence, because I do not wish to incite violence. I've said before on the podcast, don't be mean, just be nice. But I've had enough of being nice to the whiny bitches of the world. I've had enough of listening to podcasts talking about the fall of humanity and how it's the fault of toxic masculinity, the fault of feminism, the fault of everybody. No, y'all just whiny bitches. Y'all just whiny bitches. Oh, we have to go on the SAG strike to do anything besides what a strike is supposed to do. The strike is supposed to negotiate a contract. It's not supposed to bring down the billionaire class. It's not supposed to upend capitalism. And it's not supposed to do any of that. It's a negotiation tactic used by unions to negotiate their contracts. It's supposed to be that way. In fact, the strike has been very effective because all the streamers have had to post losses for this quarter, and now they're actually at the table coming together and trying to come to an actual agreement that we like. Congratulations, the strike worked, but it's not an existential threat to your existence. Your existence is fine. Calm down. You a whiny bitch. Anybody in the red pill community, anybody talking about how feminists are the problem and talking about how they're the problem with society because women being equal is somehow going to ruin your day, or it's somehow crushing the institution of marriage, or it's somehow destroying men, or somehow women having rights is a problem for men because whatever. Y'all are just whiny bitches. Islam is the problem because obviously the Prophet Muhammad was a weird dude. Yeah, he was a weird dude. He was human. We can look back at the historical record and we can see that he was a weird dude. But you know what? So were a lot of Christians. So were a lot of Jewish people. In fact, the Bible itself is littered with weird dudes. When you complain about a specific religion and don't look at the warts in your own, you literally ignore Jesus' teachings to look at the log in your own eye before you pull the twig out of your brother's eye. Y'all whiny bitches. And to the people who are walking around saying the Jews should go to hell, that any of that stuff is even remotely acceptable right now is beyond me. Y'all are whiny bitches. First of all, this is the thing I don't understand about these whiny bitches. They find something to latch onto, and then they make themselves try, and then they try and sound tough, and then they try to not sound like whiny bitches. At their core, They are whiny, whiny bitches, and I'm just sick of it. They're everywhere. The politicians of this country are whiny bitches. Oh, but Marjorie Taylor Greene will do this or that or the other. She's one person. If you can't get around one person, y'all whiny bitch. Oh, but the GOP leadership is being stupid. Yeah, the GOP leadership is being stupid, but you know what? You're being stupid too because you're doing nothing but talking about the GOP leadership being stupid. You're being a whiny bitch. Joe Biden, President Joe Biden. President Joe Biden is being a whiny bitch himself. Why? Because he blames everybody else for all these problems, and then he puts up kind of a half-baked plan, and then he's like, well, this is all I have to do. No, it's not all you have to do. You have to lead the country. You're the president. Stop being a whiny bitch. I'm so sorry. I just sniffed into the microphone. I'm on a roll today. Now, this was born from a conversation with my father, who is probably the exact opposite of a whiny bitch. He is, in fact, not a whiny bitch. I suppose that would be the opposite of a whiny bitch. In language, the colloquial use of bitch to refer to any human, regardless of their gender, actually has no opposite, because there is no opposite. It's just bitch. You're either not a whiny bitch or you're a whiny bitch. This is a little bit of South Park logic that I'm using here. And I'm not going to use the slur South Park used because it was acceptable at the time to use that slur. It's no longer acceptable to use that slur. And I'm certainly not going to say it into the microphone because this podcast itself might get my podcast canceled. But you know what? Screw it. It's a Friday. I'm just going to send it. I'm going to send it and we're going to see where this goes. Stop being a whiny bitch. You know what the problem with half the problem in the world are due to right now? It's due to the fact that we're very good at identifying the problem, which is great. But we're so good at identifying the problem that we pat ourselves on the back for identifying the problem, and then we just go back and forth arguing about the problem. Congratulations, we've identified that poverty is a problem. Wow, poverty is a problem? Wow, you've done a great job. Now, how about a solution to try and fix poverty? Well, it's the fault of I don't care whose fault it is. I do not care. I do not care. People are suffering and dying every day because of poverty, and your solution is to argue about it. I do not care. I do not care whose fault it is at the point at which we have a problem. Well, it's the fault of the billionaire class. Yeah, well, you know what? Go write a treatise about it. But when there is an actual active problem in your hand, when there is a person bleeding on the street, you can't go, well, this is the fault of those Democrat-led cities. There was just a mass shooting in Maine. And it took 2 seconds, 2 literal seconds, for people to go, well, this is the fault of this or that and the other. What? I didn't hear a solution in any of that. Well, we should have tighter gun laws. Ladies and gentlemen, the country is littered with gun laws at this point. Do you know what most of these shootings would have been stopped by? The gun laws that actually exist being enforced. Do you know why? Because every time you buy a gun, there are background checks that are done, or the guns are stolen. And you know what? If your solution is get rid of the Second Amendment, let's have that conversation about that solution, not about the problem. We've identified the problem. Don't be a whiny bitch about it. You know why? Because when you're a whiny bitch about the problem, you are denigrating the loss that people are actually suffering. This is my big problem with people being a whiny bitch. When you are being a whiny bitch about a problem, what you are saying is, well, you know what? I would rather academically talk about somebody's loss. No, bullshit. Bullshit. There are people dying and all you can do is whine about a problem instead of working to come up with a solution. And you know what working to come up with a solution actually looks like? It looks like actually having a discussion where you don't burst out into tears the second somebody challenges your worldview, because your worldview is going to be challenged as people try to come up with an actual solution to the problems. Do you see where I'm getting at here? This week I'm done. I'm done with people being a whiny bitch. I'm over it. Because we've got what is likely escalating to World War III, and the end result of it has become that people are afraid. People of the Islamic faith are afraid. People of the Jewish faith are afraid. I'm done with it. And instead of actually working together and coming up to address these problems, all we're doing is whining about it. You know, we have pro-Palestine movements working their way through schools. What is it accomplishing? Cornell just shut down because somebody threatened to kill Jewish students. We have other places shutting down because people are threatening to kill Islamic people. And instead of actually solving these problems, instead of actually finding ways to constructively work together, or even just having the presence of mind to say, like, okay, we need to actively speak out on something and actually say something constructive, instead of saying things like, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, which is an anti-Semitic slur, or saying things like, this is the fault of all Islamic people, because Islamic people are obviously all working as a secret cabal to try and take down the world. No. Stop whining. All that is anti-Semitism, anti-Islamic feelings, anti all this shit out in the world. It's all just whining designed to distract you from the fact that nobody actually is trying to come up with a solution. We've identified problems. Fantastic. But you know what? I've identified anti-Semitism as a problem. Good for you. Did we not know that was a problem? I've identified anti-Islamic feelings as a problem. Good for you. Islamophobia is a problem. Okay, how do we solve it? Well, it's really the fault of those Democrats. Laying the blame at somebody's feet, or looking to only lay blame at somebody's feet and not actively pushing to a solution, is being a whiny bitch. And it's a Friday. It's sunny outside. I'm going to go enjoy the day and not be a whiny bitch. I'm going to go try and do something positive. And you know what? I'm done. I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day. Don't be a whiny bitch.